This video is going to be a film study look at how the Philadelphia Eagles defense was able to absolutely dismantle the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59, ultimately winning 40-22. I'm going to focus this film study on the first four possessions, where the Eagles came out and through either pre-snap identification / awareness film study or just adjustment to routes, they took away Patrick Mahomes' first read often. It also interests me the play calls that Andy Reid chose to utilize. How many times does Mahomes line up and have a run and a pass play called and he elects to go to the pass play? We have no idea there, obviously. But the way that it worked out, they ended up with only one run play and 12 pass plays in their first four possessions. And by that point, the Eagles are up 17-0. Was that Andy Reid's script? Was he forced into it? I don't think he was forced into it, at least not at that time. Did the Eagles' defensive line dominate? Of course. They didn't need to blitz. They were able to get a ton of pressure with four guys, regardless of who was on the field at defensive end. And the back end could play the various coverages that Vic Fangio wanted to rely on in terms of seven guys being allotted to the coverage element. It all worked out for them to a dominant first half, a dominant game overall. 20 plays by the Chiefs offense in the first half, and I think 13 or 14 yards is all that they were able to produce, along with two interceptions by Mahomes, one of which Cooper DeJean takes to the house for a touchdown to make it 17-0. Let's get the film started here, and I'm going to go through, like I said, only selected plays from the first four possessions. We'll pick this up on the second play of the game for the Chiefs. It's a 2nd and 9, and they're going to drop the D end to empty. There's a lot going on in this game that reminds me of how Lou Anarumo used to attack or defend the Chiefs. That's the D end, the aforementioned D end that I showed you a minute ago. Spot shadowed here. I think it's 19. Now, he does kind of lose leverage here in a moment, but the geometry of this works out. It's a three-man rush, by the way. And I remember when Lou started to use this a lot against the Chiefs in 2021 and 2022 against empty. That three-man rush just worked out extremely well in their favor, being able to cover the quick game. Look, the reality is the Chiefs and most NFL offensive coordinators or play callers, they don't want to run QB draw. They don't want to run the quarterback there. And so defending it with a three-man rush, not in every case, but at times, I think is appropriate given the geometry and given the types of pass plays that the Chiefs run out of empty historically. They're not trying to throw the ball deep on 1st and 10, or in this case, a 2nd and 9. We will give the end zone angle of the same play, and you'll see there's an opportunity for Kelsey to catch this football. Don't get me wrong. The D end over here is the one that's stood up, and they're putting this in Mahomes and Reid's mind that they'll play a three-man rush against empty. Like I said, the ball is there in the window, but there's a tone being set here too. C.J. Gardner-Johnson making contact with Kelsey. I didn't think Kelsey was real sharp early in the game. Whether you consider that a drop or not, I think it's an opportunity for him to make the play. The DN kind of loses leverage. The Eagles took advantage of the moments where they were able to be physical, where they were able to put hands on people or like that, lay a shot on a guy like Travis Kelsey. Really set the stage for the Chiefs' first possession, which becomes a 3rd and long the very next snap that I'm going to show you here in a moment. Are you going to bring a blitz? Are you going to go after Mahomes on the first 3rd and long, 3rd and 9, like I said? No, we now know what Fangio's plan was over the course of the 60-minute game. Bring four-man pressure, occasionally switch rush and inside linebacker with the D end, and rely on the coverage guys to get the job done, even though they're playing man here across the board. So there's the matchups. They do have a too-high safety alignment, so they're out of a dime configuration, by the way. They collapse the pocket, number one. Number two, they get hands on a lot of guys. You can see Mahomes' first read, or first look, I should say, is down here. Regardless of who he's actually reading, regardless of who he's looking for, watch the physicality. DeJean absolutely disrupting Kelsey's release. You can see what the Chiefs are trying to develop. Get a pick on this defender here, perhaps. So wherever Mahomes is looking to go with the football, he's not willing to take this possible wheel down here to the bottom side of our screen. That defender, the number 3 defender, has got to run through 2 rubs / picks. And in this case, Mahomes doesn't like it. Really, there's no one open at all. And the Eagles were consistently running the safety away from Kelsey. down to his side. Look, they almost ended up with an interception here on the first drive. Let's run this back through one more time. So Kelsey here, and this safety spinning down to trips. It could be a Kelsey thing. It could just be their response to trips at times, whatever the coverage is called. The point is the way that it worked out for the Eagles on Sunday night was brilliant throughout. Pretty much every decision that they made as a coaching staff and as players put their guys in the right spot to make plays and prevent Kelsey, prevent Mahomes from getting those easy completions and kind of keep the chains going, create 2nd and 4 situations, as opposed to, like you saw on that first possession, a 2nd and 9 and then the ensuing 3rd and 9 that was nearly picked off. Second possession here, and again, I think you'll get an example of them taking away the easier throws by Mahomes. So this is the first play of the second possession. It's going to be complete to Juju late. He's here, just helping pass pro initially, so you got a max pro situation. And part of the game plan must have been these wheels to Worthy. Now, that's not drawn exactly where the wheel occurs, but I run out of screen up at the top there. But you get the point. They ran either this motion to a wheel 3 times, and I think that it's exactly where Mahomes is looking up top. You got max pro, which gives you time, or should theoretically give you more time. By the way, that's Kelsey in the middle of the field, absolutely triangulated by the 2 safeties and Ballin. And Juju has recognized that there's no work for him at this point, so he just releases underneath. Mahomes finds him for a 5-yard gain. Everything was contested. It really reminded me of when the Detroit Pistons had those great defensive teams with Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, and they were able to take away the first thing your offense was trying to do, and then the second or the third option out of it was absolutely contested and difficult to accomplish. This is a 5-yard gain that took a heck of a lot of time for the Chiefs to create, to produce, and they relied upon max protection pass pro in order to get it done. Something else to mention here. First play of the second possession, we're now at 5 passes in a row to start the game. Interesting to me, regardless of how judgmental we want to be of Andy Reid. Again, I think there's a lot of situations where quarterbacks get up to the line and have a run and a pass play called, so we don't know what they're looking for. So I'm not going to be judgmental about it. It's just facts. They came out and threw the ball on the first 5 snaps of the game. The next play, very next play on the second possession, in fact, 2nd and 5, going to be a split zone. I think you got a 0 for Kelsey here, but you can see that same motion by Worthy. And this combo on Jordan Davis it ends up working to this combo right here by the left tackle, left guard, ends up working back to the backside inside linebacker, 42 unblocked, safety to the point of attack, also unblocked, and then Kelsey just an absolute 0, if you ask me, on this possible block. I mean, it looks like he really doesn't want to be involved in that situation at all. So the D-end, 19, again, is able to get there. I will show you the end zone angle of this one. I don't think it can get any worse, if you ask me, as far as Kelsey getting over there and getting the heck out of the running back's way, number 1. And then number 2, getting some type of contact on the defensive end / outside linebacker. Also notice the communication between 2 rookies, DeJean and Mitchell, getting across the field. So what they've done is DeJean took the original number 1. I think it's Mitchell, took the motion guy Worthy, and so that allowed or freed up the safety to get involved here. And when you get the end zone angle, I mean, there's just nothing here at all for Kareem Hunt. It ends up being 3 guys at the point of attack. Everything the Eagles did, they were just sound, first of all. They were very prepared for situations. One thing I want to say that I think perhaps Eagles fans, if they watch this video, may not like is I think they did a really nice job of protecting the safeties, meaning don't expose them to coverage matchups that might be that might not be advantageous to your safeties, one of which C.J. Gardner-Johnson I've been a big fan of for years. Let's get the end zone angle so you can see it. So what I mean is DeJean is the guy running across. So it's not like they're asking, and you kind of lose him a little bit because of my logo. I think it's Blankenship 32. It's not like they're asking him to move across here with Worthy and get involved in the coverage. In this situation, they're running DeJean across. And he's involved in the coverage. I mean, look what you've got here. This is the 0 getting ready to happen. Kelsey on the split zone combo on Davis to the backside inside linebacker. So, I mean, like, who's going to block 42? No one. They allow 32 to get involved. Really 3 guys all over the running back. This is It's not quality blocking by Kelsey. Clearly, I thought he looked disinterested in pass pro a couple of times. And then here, I would call that a 0 if I was grading it. But in any case, 3 guys at the point of attack, just not going to succeed. The motion across, especially with a speedster like Worthy, is supposed to, hold a safety or hold the coverage element, not let that third guy get involved. In this case, the safety of Blankenship, 32. It didn't. In this case, Eagles were able to spin him down and hold Kareem Hunt to a very short gain. Now that sets up a 3rd and 3 on the second possession. The first possession, 3rd and 9, you saw they played man, 4-man rush, brought in a dime alignment. This is different. It's 3rd and 3. It's not 3rd and long. So various things are still in play. Mahomes escaping and getting out of there, obviously. And check out what the Chiefs do. They put Worthy in the backfield. So the running back is actually lined up wide right. Again, this is a 3rd and 3 on the second possession. Clearly, part of the early plan was to get Worthy into the boundary. Here he is motioning and then running another wheel. Mahomes' first look is to Kelsey from the boundary, and the inside linebacker 42 is just all over him. There's really nothing there. I mean, you could certainly throw the football to the outside leverage of Kelsey, but Mahomes is looking for a high percentage opportunity here on a 3rd and 3. Also, this is straight out of Lou Anarumo's playbook. The way that I saw and remember him defending the Chiefs for 2 years in a row, 2021, 2022. Inside linebackers stepping out with motion, whether it's a running back, whether it's a receiver, and it's probable that this is why Andy Reid ran this, because he knew that was the matchup he could get. So on some level, some would say, well, let's throw the football up here. You know what you've got. Mahomes doesn't think he has enough time, and he does not. The pocket's already getting collapsed. We know that was a big issue. It influenced the way that he played the game throughout the 4 quarters of the contest, but particularly in the first half. And then DeJean is a guy who allowed the route to go underneath initially. DeJean allowed Hollywood Brown to go underneath, and then as that route comes back, he's in position to help defend it. If it actually is on target, it's not. Mahomes decked again. Really rough start through 2 possessions for the Chiefs. You got 1 run play, 6 passes, just nothing in rhythm at all. Again, I look at this as very similar to Lou Anarumo's game plans over a 2-year span against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, in the sense that they were taking away Mahomes' quick game, taking away his first read, making him go to second, third reads. And by that time, the pass rush was there. Different players, of course, for the Bengals in those 2 years. Don't think they had nearly as dominant a defensive line as this Eagles group that showed up to Super Bowl 59. Let's get to the third possession. This is, of course, after Jalen Hurts, really terrible decision and even worse throw, the interception. And were it not for that, what does the first half look like? It ended up being 24-0. Could have been, far worse. So Kansas City got the ball on the -2, their own 2-yard line, third possession to start. And they go pick a safe play here. Pick, rub into the boundary. 2 tight ends involved, so it's 12 personnel. But the Eagles stay in their nickel defense, so which is interesting, first of all. So you got 1 tight end here, Kelsey. 2nd tight end here, I think it's Gray. And the Eagles have their 4 down linemen, 2 inside linebackers, and then there's the nickel, Cooper DeJean. So they stayed in their nickel against 12 personnel. It's a safe play. Why does it not work? I have a couple of thoughts here. Number one, great alignment. Great job by the Eagles coaching staff to get this inside linebacker in a position where, on a pick rub scheme, they've got to pick him. So now, oftentimes the inside linebacker would be at depth. His feet would be here, and Bond would be pushed over a little bit further to our left, the top side of the screen. And so the inside linebacker would have to expand with either this theoretical snag by Kelsey and then flat or shoot route out into the flats by Noah Gray, the guy who actually makes the catch here. So my point in explaining all of that is the alignment by the inside linebacker, in my opinion, basically makes the read for Quinyon Mitchell super easy. He sees, he's looking in the backfield, first of all, but he also sees this here. Kelsey is not available. Mahomes has to pump fake out to Gray. It's a great tackle, man. I mean, they were all over everything, playing fast, playing with physicality, but also just extremely smart and prepared. Didn't give Mahomes, Kelsey, and those guys any space at all early. I think the alignment of 42, I thought he played extremely well, um, taking the place of Nakobe Dean, obviously, who's out for the year at this point. Great tackle by Mitchell, if you ask me. We're up to, at this point, one run and I think 7 pass plays to open the game. It's the third possession, still only 7-0. Yes, the Chiefs are backed up to their own end zone, but no reason to go away from whatever your script is, if you ask me. Very next play, it's a 2nd and 8. And credit to the Eagles for, I think, being prepared for the way the Chiefs play football. They're a right-handed football team. So in order to explain this, I feel like I got to diagram it a little bit. There's the hash, the left hash, that yellow line. And the field is to the top of that line for us on our screen. And the boundary, the short side of the field, is down here. The Chiefs have been a right-handed football team for years in critical situations. You don't know, obviously, when they're going to be, but here we do have trips to the field and DeAndre Hopkins as the X receiver down to the bottom side. Look at how much is allocated to deal with this. Actually, I think it's Hollywood Brown down there. My apologies. So they've almost got 5 defenders over 3, with 32 also looking in that direction, waiting for some type of crosser or maybe over concept. Nothing is available for Mahomes at all on this concept. It's beautiful defense, if you ask me. They've pushed 42 to that side as well, and that can only happen because they dropped the defensive end away. So there's a lot going on here, how they're getting this done. Watch Nolan Smith, watch 19 on the snap. They're dropping out. Guess what this is? It's a 3-man rush. 3-man rush, dropping Nolan Smith out to their left, the Chiefs' right, dropping 19 out back to the backside where the X is, and totally taking away all of Mahomes' options. This is the 4th time that I have seen a team early in games use a 3-man rush against Mahomes and Andy Reid. The other 3 times was Lou Anarumo and the Cincinnati Bengals. This is the only other team that I've seen use this so early and so often. Everything's totally locked up. I don't know why the Eagles did this. I suspect, based on my history of watching the Bengals as a Ravens fan and scouting them and then seeing them in 2021 and 2022 make the Super Bowl in the AFC Championship game, it's my opinion that this is awareness and preparedness by their defensive staff, by their coaches, recognizing, hey, there's trips over here. The ball is on the left hash for the offense, right hash for us, and there's probably going to be something over to our left. Let's push a linebacker over there, get an extra pass defender because we know they're not running the football. By the way, we're up to 1 run and 8 passes so far. Really imbalanced. I didn't think that the D-line for the Eagles so far was completely dominant. Everyone's playing really well, doing their job, playing fast and downhill when appropriate, but I thought that the defensive line had not yet begun to totally dominate like they did over the course of 60 minutes. And here we go with the third down of the game now, 3rd possession. And again, you've got empty before the motion, and DeJean is pushed to the boundary. So this is the ball on the right hash. So the boundary side would be up here, the field down to the bottom side. And DeJean is actually going to kind of flip with 42. But all they do is they just push Bond into the boundary, and 42 becomes the Mike. So DeJean, the nickel, to the field, Bond into the boundary, and 42 becomes the Mike. Like I said, it's a 3rd down, the third down of the game, and they've created a protected release for Travis Kelce. He's the outside receiver, almost kind of stacked, and when I say protected, he's just reading Bond, he being Kelce. So as Bond widens up, he just sits because it's not like you need 8 yards. It's not a 3rd and 8. It's a 3rd and 3. I think Mahomes misses this. It's also possible that Kelce is supposed to be maybe a step further upfield, but Kelce's just finding space. I mean, look at the space that's not here for Kelce, vertically or horizontally. He's basically got to find the right spot to fit into to not allow anyone to get involved on this pass concept. Mahomes, I think, this throw certainly looks low. Is it a miscommunication between him and Kelce? I don't know. All I know is it didn't work out in their favor. 3rd possession, and you're already looking at the Chiefs. No rhythm at all. No flow. I don't think Reid's plan was to be this pass heavy. It's really only 7. It's only 7-0 at this point. Let's do the end zone angle real quick, by the way. Mahomes going to look that way, which is exactly where the running back pushes. and you can see getting rid of the ball quick. I think his backside kind of doesn't come through a whole lot here, kind of dead legs a little bit. And so maybe that's why the throw is low. Maybe he thought Kelsey was going to be a little bit further upfield, but it certainly ends up, down here a little lower than maybe Kelsey was anticipating. Whose fault it is, I don't really care. I just know that, the way that it worked out, it wasn't in position for Kelsey to make the catch. It's 7-0 Eagles, but at this time, 1 run, 9 passes so far for the Chiefs, just really out of rhythm completely. We'll go through 2 plays on the 4th possession. At the point that it becomes 17-0, at that moment, you're like, okay, if the Eagles don't turn the football over, they've got a great chance to win this. The defense was incredible throughout. This is 4th possession, 1st and 10, no run game established at all. They haven't even tried. And first play of this possession, they go with a pass play. I kept waiting for them to run the football. They've been a little more conservative the last couple of years. Think back to how they beat the Eagles in 2022. That was a conservative game plan, using the run, and obviously the fact that Mahomes was injured in that game. They didn't want to rely on him as much. They wanted to be able to win that game if the backup quarterback had to come in. So I think the game plan was really smart in that Super Bowl. There's pressure here, right? I mean, Mahomes is being moved off his spot, but everyone's locked up. The safety who spot shadowed finds work underneath. Look at him get underneath of, I think it's Hopkins running across. Maybe that's Juju. Sometimes tough to tell, 8 and 9. And DeJean is chasing Worthy across here. Also, the running back, where there was a slight pump or slight play fake, is going to be covered up by 42. So DeJean and 42 have basically switched on the split flow, with Worthy going out into the flats on the hide, and then the running back down into the bottom side flats here. Shocking to me that Pacheco wasn't involved more. I look at him as a really explosive and dynamic playmaker for this team in the last couple of years. Really also that moment there, watching the film this morning, you got run plays, screens, something different. No. First play, 4th possession, down 10-0 at that point, and they go to a pass play immediately. Nothing there. The coverage stickiness for the Eagles was completely there. So far, 1 run, 10 pass plays. I think they've gone away from their play style. I think Reed's off his script. That's just my suspicion. I can't prove it. You may have a different opinion, and that's fine. I think he's off his script at this point for whatever reason. I don't think his script was, 1 run and 10 pass plays to start the game. Clearly, this is the biggest moment, the pick 6 by DeJean, that ends up, being 17-0. I think he loses track of the nickel, which is Cooper DeJean. I think he loses track of him. It's like a dash concept. Hopkins is running from the backside. I think Mitchell's there, even if DeJean doesn't pick it off, so I think it's going to be incomplete. I think he's tracking Hopkins well here. And as Mahomes rolls out to the right, look, it's a 3rd and 16. There was a sack here that I didn't show. My apologies for that. I just didn't want to show every single snap. There's no pressure, but there's really nothing available to him in reality. It's not like he can throw the ball here, or here with any consistency or high degree of efficiency in terms of completion. Poor decision by Mahomes to push that ball there. Lost track of the nickel. Vaughn had pushed out into the flats to take the running back. Cooper DeJean takes it to the house. Apparently his 22nd birthday. Gets a pick 6 in the Super Bowl. First NFL touchdown. I mean, just a sick game plan. It was really incredible to see what Philadelphia was able to do and make the Chiefs look unprepared, which sounds weird to say because they're so good, the Chiefs, at what they do. They're so efficient. Philly took away everything that they wanted to run from a first read standpoint. I do think Kansas City the coaches probably look back on this and say, okay, we missed chances to maybe create some flow, create some rhythm in the run game. Not getting Pacheco involved, for me, if I was a Chiefs fan, would be a complaint because that guy seems so talented and so dynamic, but nothing was able to get accomplished. By my stats or my math, 20 plays, 13 yards in the first half, along with the 2 interceptions. They end up being down 24-0. Really a masterpiece defensively by Vic Fangio, the Philadelphia Eagles defensive staff. I don't know where it ranks compared to Ravens defense, Seahawks defense when they dismantled Peyton Manning and the Broncos, the Bears, the Giants defenses from the 80s and the 90s when they won 2 Super Bowls. I don't know. I just know that to watch it unfold live and then look at the film early this morning, the film looks even better than the game did last night for the Eagles, which is exceedingly rare for things to look more dominant in the all 22 and end zone angle than they did during the live broadcast. I appreciate you guys' time. If you checked out the video this far, if you think Eagles fans or football fans in general would enjoy my film study look at how the Eagles dismantled Kansas City's offense and really ran away with things in the first half, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.